So in the previous slides, we talk about the first important compound of the alkali metal, that is the washing soda, represented by sodium carbonate decahydrate. So let us discuss the important process used for this preparation, that is the Solvay's process. So in this Solvay's process, we can prepare sodium carbonate decahydrate by using ammonia and carbon dioxide. So in this process, what we are doing actually, in this process, we are taking a brine solution. We are taking a brine solution of sodium chloride, which is saturated with ammonia, and upon passing carbon dioxide gas, we are getting a ammonium hydrogen carbonate. Now this ammonium hydrogen carbonate can be converted into sodium hydrogen carbonate, or we can crystallizes out sodium hydrogen carbonate by passing a sodium chloride through it. So as a result of this, sodium hydrogen carbonate, being less soluble in water, can be easily crystallizes out, which upon further heating decompose to form sodium carbonate. Now in this process, ammonia is the major reactant that we are using, so that can be easily recovered by using ammonium chloride. So if we take this ammonium chloride, upon its reaction with calcium hydroxide, we can again regenerate ammonia, which is required as an important reactant for this particular Solvay's process. Now there is a very important reasoning question from this. Why the Solvay's process cannot be extended for potassium carbonate preparation? As I told you earlier also, sodium hydrogen carbonate is less soluble in water. That is, it is low solubility of sodium hydrogen carbonate in water is responsible for the Solvay's process. So similarly, potassium hydrogen carbonate is too soluble in water, so that its precipitate cannot be separated out. So by passing ammonium hydrogen carbonate, to which if we pass potassium chloride, we can't get the precipitate of potassium hydrogen carbonate because it is highly soluble in water. So as a result of this, I just give you the reaction. So if we consider, let us prepare potassium carbonate by a Solvay's process. What you have to do? We have to take an ammonium hydrogen carbonate. If you are passing potassium chloride through it, what will happen? If you try to prepare potassium hydrogen carbonate, but this compound is very much soluble in water, so that the aqueous solution will be formed. So its crystals cannot be separated out. So that is why Solvay's process cannot be implemented in case of a sodium carbonate. So now coming to the properties of sodium carbonate. So as I told you earlier also, it contains 10 water of crystallization. So it is a white crystalline solid. It is also commonly called as washing soda, highly soluble in water, and its aqueous solution is strongly alkaline in nature. So next is the very important reaction shown by the washing soda. Upon heating below 373 Kelvin temperature, it loses some of its water of crystallization and forming monohydrate, that is a sodium carbonate monohydrate compound will be formed, which upon further strongly heated above 373 Kelvin temperature, it will form a white color powder, and this white color powder is called as a soda ash. Soda ash. This is an important reaction. Sometimes it is asked in examination. So that is all about the chemical reaction shown by the washing soda. Now coming to the uses of washing soda, that is daily life implementation of this washing soda. You know that it is used for washing purposes. So for softening of hot water, for laundering and cleaning purposes it is used. In spite of that, for the manufacturing of glass, soap, borax and caustic soda it is used. In spite of that, it is used in the industries of paper, paints and textile. And in spite of last important use, it is used as a reagent for the qualitative and the quantitative analysis in case of a chemistry lab. So that is all about the important compound that is known as a sodium carbonate decahydrate. Now let us talk about the second important compound of that is a sodium chloride. So all of you know that the most abundant source of sodium chloride is the seawater. We are obtaining the sodium chloride mostly from a seawater. So about 2.7 to 2.9% by mass of all the salts that contains a sodium chloride. Now if we take the crude, that is a raw amount of a sodium chloride, it contains so many salts. Like various impurities are there, like sodium sulfate, calcium chloride, magnesium chloride, all are present in the form of impurities. Now how you can obtain purified form of sodium chloride? What we have taken? We have taken a crude salt. It is to be dissolved in a minimum amount of water. Then we have to filter it out, remove all the insoluble impurities. Then what you have to do? Then what you have taken? Saturated solution of that sodium chloride. After removing the insoluble impurities, then it is to be crystallizes out with the help of HCl. Now if we passing HCl through it, by the common ion effect criteria, we can crystallizes out a purified form of a sodium chloride. Now when we purified form of sodium chloride is obtained, it contains calcium and magnesium chloride also. But these are highly soluble in water. So it cannot be crystallizes out, it will remain in the solution form. So that is how we can obtain a sodium chloride in a purified form. Now coming to the uses of this sodium chloride, all of you know that we use in our daily life in the form of a common salt that is called as a table salt for domestic purposes. In spite of that, it is used for the preparation of sodium peroxide, sodium hydroxide and sodium carbonate. All compounds of sodium can be prepared by using this sodium chloride. Now next, coming to the next important compound of alkali metal, that is a sodium hydroxide, which is commonly called as caustic soda. Now coming to its preparation, for a large scale commercial production, it is prepared with the help of electrolysis technique. If we do the electrolysis of brine solution of sodium chloride in a cell that is called as a Kastner-Kellner cell. Now in this cell, what we have taken? We have taken a brine solution of sodium chloride by using a mercury as a cathode and a carbon as an anode. So upon passing electric current, what will happen? Sodium metal will be formed at a cathode, which will combine with mercury to form a sodium amalgam. So sodium amalgam that will be formed at a cathode, and similarly chloride ion being negatively charged anion move towards anode, and again here oxidation will take place. So as a result of this, chlorine gas will be liberated out at a anode. So we can say that overall cell reaction is sodium amalgam is formed at a cathode and chlorine gas that will be evolved at a anode. So further, how you can obtain sodium hydroxide? This sodium amalgam is further treating with water that will lead to the formation of sodium hydroxide, which is called as a caustic soda, and the various byproduct like hydrogen and the mercury will be formed. So this is the method used for the preparation of a sodium hydroxide. Now coming to the properties of sodium hydroxide, you might have seen in your laboratory that sodium hydroxide just look like a wax, white color translucent solid. Okay, it is in the form of pellets also, it is in the form of flakes also. So it is white translucent solid. It melts at about 590 Kelvin temperature, highly soluble in water, and its solution is strongly alkaline in nature. Now in spite of that, if you put the crystal outside for some time, it is highly deliquescent. That means it absorbs moisture from the atmosphere. In spite of that, its surface reacts with, if we take the sodium hydroxide solution, its surface solution reacts with the carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere. As a result of this, it will form a sodium carbonate. So that is all about the properties of sodium hydroxide. Now coming to the uses, where we use this sodium hydroxide. Again, it is used just like potassium hydroxide for soap preparation, for paper industries, for the manufacturing of artificial silk. Again, for number of chemicals, we have to use this sodium hydroxide. Similarly, in the petroleum refining, for the purification of bauxite, and again for cotton fabrics preparation, we are using it. For the purification of fats and oils, again as a laboratory reagent, we are using this sodium hydroxide. Now the last compound is of this particular alkali metal, that is to be known as sodium hydrogen carbonate. That is commonly we use at our domestic purpose. We are using in the form of a baking soda. So sodium hydrogen carbonate, all of you know that it is called as a baking soda. We used at our home for making cakes, pastries, and for making our cake light and fluffy. So what this baking soda is basically, it will decompose upon heating, and as a result of this, a bubbles of carbon dioxide comes out to it. So that will make some holes in the cake and the pastry that will become lighter as well as fluffy. Now coming to its preparation part, how you can prepare this. So we discussed earlier also sodium hydrogen carbonate that can be prepared by using a sodium carbonate solution which is saturated with the carbon dioxide gas. So as a result of this, a white crystalline powder of sodium hydrogen carbonate is formed. Being less soluble in water, its crystals can be easily separated out. So in spite of that, a very important uses of sodium hydrogen carbonate, it can be used as a mild antiseptic. For the prevention of skin infections, we are using this sodium hydrogen carbonate. In spite of that, it is used as a fire extinguishers, sodium hydrogen carbonate. Now that is all about the compounds of alkali metals. Now coming to the biological importance of the important two metals, alkali metals, that is a sodium and potassium, that plays a very significant role in a living being. Now sodium ions, it plays a very important role primarily when it is present outside the cell. It being located in the cell plasma and the interstitial fluid, it surrounds the cell. In spite of that, for the carrying out the nerve impulse signal, that is for the transmission of nerve signals, it regulates the flow of the water across the cell membranes. In spite of that, it also plays important role in the transportation of sugar and amino acids into the cell. Now, both sodium and potassium, they will differ quantitatively in their ability to penetrate cell membrane. So both having a different transport mechanism. So both are efficiently active to convey the role of the enzymes. Now, last important news, potassium ions, that is most abundant cation that are present in the cell fluid. They are very actively, when they combine with enzymes, they participate in the oxidation, that is a biocycle complete. Biology students will read out how the glycolysis process, various cycles are there in which the ATP will be produced by the glucose oxidation. So while the oxidation of glucose, ATP will be produced in which the sodium and potassium plays a very important role. So they are also responsible for the transmission of nerve signal. So with this, your topic, that is alkali metals, that is group 1 element, will be completed.